Welcome to Rock and Reddit. Let's get started, and don't forget to like and subscribe. What was your "this person is on another level" of stupid moment? This was my first experience in retail, where I learned what many customers would be like. Seasons were changing, so we put a lot of shirts we had to get rid of in the front, and made them 50% off. I was working the register, when a woman came up to buy her things. I rang her up, and could see a look on her face, like something was wrong. That's when the following happened. "Lady, why is this so much?" Me, "Pardon me?" "Lady, this should only be $10, not $20. I thought that maybe her item was on sale, so I asked if she could point out the sign, because I wasn't aware of it. It was a small store and we didn't have to walk anywhere. "Lady, this sign here." Me, "This sign says that all shirts are 50% off." Lady, "Yes, so why is this full price?" Me, "This is a hat." Back when the Fukushima nuclear power plant disaster happened, we were discussing how the reactor had failed in a science class. 5 minutes into the conversation, a girl piped up and said, "I don't see what the big deal is. Why can't we just regrow it?" She deadass thought a nuclear power plant was a plant. Fuck me, that's amazing. I'm an identical twin, and have been asked all manner of utterly ridiculous questions about it throughout my life. But I think the stupidest was when a girl once asked me, "Do you ever get yourselves mixed up with each other?" I responded, "Are you asking me if I ever sometimes think I'm my brother?" She replied, "Yeah." "No, I don't. My brother and I used to work as grocery baggers. One day, we're working adjacent checkouts. A customer saw us and asked if we were twins. I answered yes, and her follow-up question was mind-blowing. "Are you brothers?" I got a bad grade in geography in high school. My teacher kept trying to push me and suggested I talk to my parents about it. I told my mom I was failing geography, and she said, "How fucking stupid can you really be, Justin? How do you fail geography? It's just shapes." I'll never forget that one. Texagon. United Shapes of America. Dude burned down his convenience store for an insurance claim and stopped the milk and bread deliveries a day before. He's too caring for the criminal world. Didn't wanna inconvenience the milk and bread companies. Demolished my right foot and a bunch of other shit in a motorcycle crash and had to have the top of my foot removed. Guy I worked with asked me when it would grow back. I explained that the skin and stuff was going to have to be grafted, but the tendons and bones that had been removed were gone forever. He looked me dead in the eye and asked, "Why don't they just cut the whole fucking thing off and let it grow back?" Going through security and the person says I need to show a different form of ID. I ask why, because I gave them my driver's license. They say I need a US document like a green card or something. I'm a US citizen. Then I realized. I explained how District of Columbia is long for DC. Like Washington DC. As in the capital of our country. OMG. I can relate. I'm from New Mexico. The number of people that think we are a foreign country is astounding. Coworker bought a low-flow shower head. He filled the bathtub using the new low-flow shower head because it would use less water. While driving from one big city to another, I stopped in a small town to eat at a fast food chain in Texas. I order my food, get my orange number tent and sit down to wait for my order. The lady who's bringing out orders has this "I give up" demeanor as she's calling out numbers that guests aren't claiming. Each time this happens, she speaks to a couple tables to seemingly figure out who food is for. Then I hear her call for number 55 while holding a tray of food for one person. I was number 54 and noticed I was the only single party guest there. We make eye contact and she heads towards me. She confirms my order with me and says sorry. For some reason the computer prints one number higher. I immediately ask, "Well then why don't you just call out one number lower than what's printed?" She freezes and I can see the gears turning in her head. I tell her thank you and she goes on her way. The time I watched someone who had missed their exit on the highway stop on the shoulder, back up, turn around, and go up the entrance ramp. I could not fucking believe it. Edit. A couple of fun details about this incident to really highlight its stupidity. *THE next exit was a few miles up the road. Going to that exit and then turning around might have delayed their drive by 15 minutes tops. There was no traffic ahead. I watched this person do this as I was coming down that same entrance ramp to get onto the highway. I remember that my driver's ed textbook had an explicit warning against doing that. At the time I wondered why they had put something so obvious in there. Later I realized it was in there because lots of people do it. I work for Parks Canada in Yoho National Park. I have been asked the question, seriously, where do you keep the animals at night? Twice in my career. To this day I still find great joy imagining what they thought was going on each night as we collected every large animal in the parks. Hey, you. Fuck you bear. Get your ass over here. Come on. Don't be a shit. Get in there. It's Parks Canada, sorry Mr. Bear. It's time to turn in for the night. Yeah, I know. Sorry. I was a co-hostess with a girl in a restaurant, watching ads on a hanging TV for a new movie. At the end, it said coming soon to a theater near you, to which she turned to me with wide eyes and genuinely asked how do they know where I live. Edit, there are so many more stories about this chick, but this one summed it up the best. She also had to stop walking to drink anything, or she'd fall over, and didn't understand that not all women have to wax their mustaches, because not all women have them. She was 20. Summer camp counselor made all the kids on a school bus keep the windows up on a hot day because they could feel the air conditioning coming from the front of the bus. It was so hot and I, maybe 10 years old at the time, had to explain to the 40-year-old counselor that the air conditioning they were feeling was the wind coming in through the bus driver's open window. She still didn't believe me. I begged her to ask the bus driver to confirm the bus did not have air conditioning, but she didn't want to bother him while he was driving. It was like a 1-hour bus trip. She finally got hot enough and asked the bus driver if the bus had air conditioning, and he jokingly said the bus only has air conditioning when the windows are down and the wheels are turning. She then looked back at me and said, "See, I told you the bus had air conditioning," and proceeded to force us to keep the windows up. We asked our classmate to prove she knew the 7 continents. Her list went like this: North America, Europe, China, the Pacific Ocean. I shit you not. Damn. To think she missed Mount Everest, the Pacific Ocean, and the Polar Express. It's like they aren't even teaching geography in schools anymore. Sad really. There was a girl in my high school who forced the teacher to pause a documentary about people living in mud huts in Africa because she was upset that they were showing us fictional movies in a history class. It took everyone else in the room to convince her that people actually live like that in some places. Wealthy area living for ya. Funny, in part because it's usually other way around. People who don't believe that there are modern cities in many countries in Africa. I got a concussion a while back. A friend of mine told me not to come close because it might be contagious. They weren't kidding. A girl in my school had gotten about 3 concussions within a year, and when she hit her head the 4th time and blacked out for a minute, refused to go to the doctor because last time they said if I got another concussion it could cause brain damage, so I'm not going to let them give me another one. Edit. Because so many people saw this and are asking, no, she did not play any sports, she was just incredibly stupid and clumsy even before the first one. I think the 3rd one might have done it for her. I was helping a colleague with his graduate thesis film. My job was to animate a solar eclipse, since we couldn't shoot one for real. I animated it using some real life reference footage to make it look realistic. When I showed him, he asked why the moon was black and had no detail. I asked him if he had ever seen a solar eclipse and he replied yes of course, but I want this one to look surreal, since it's the moon in front of the sun, it's not like a normal solar eclipse. At this point it became clear something was amiss, and after asking a few more clarifying questions it became clear he had no idea that the large object passing in front of the sun during a solar eclipse is, in fact, the moon. I confronted him about it, and he apologized for not being great with astrology. Had someone ask me, is Europe on Earth? Actually Europa is a moon of Jupiter. Knew a girl in middle school that didn't understand the concept of perspective. She also thought north was whichever direction you were facing at the time. Yes, true north. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment the moments when somebody was being extremely dumb down below. Stay hydrated and don't let your memes be dreams.